The purpose of this assignment was to research morning departure flights from Tulsa International Airport. And the way we're going to analyze the data is we're going to use subtotals, and we're going to create a pivot table and a pivot chart. So the first thing we do is copy the data from flightstats.com, and we'll copy it into Excel like so. And then we're going to clean up the data. So once we cleaned up the data, it's going to look like this. And what we want to do now is to sort it first by destination and then by airline. So we go to data and we go to sort, and we can sort it by destination and then add another level, and then we get airline like so. Okay, so once we have that, then we can do subtotals. So we can go to the subtotal group, and we want to count the subtotals at each change in destination. So this is destination, and then we want to use the function count. So that's okay, and then we click OK. So once we have that, we have the counts for each destination, and then we can just change the view of it. So we get the grand total, the subtotal with the grand total, and then the whole data over here. So then we go back to our original data set, and we can create a pivot table. So we go to Insert, and we go to Pivot Table, and this will be a blank pivot table that we will insert the fields for. So once we have the blank pivot table, we want the rows to have destination, so we just drag destination down here, and then airline, so we just drag airline down here. Then for the columns, we want the status, so we drag the status into here. And for departure time, we want that to be filtered from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. So we just drag departure time down here, and then we can filter it like so. Since all our flights are between 6 and 9, it's all selected. After that, we have the values, we have the flight, so we drag that down here, and we can change value field settings over here, and we can change it to count over here. And then we get this pivot table. Then we go back to our original data set, and we can insert a pivot chart over here. So we'll just click this, and we will have this, and just click OK. And we will have our pivot chart. Now we're going to put the destination on the axis, and then for the values we want the flight, so we put it down here. Once we have that, we want to change the type of chart we have, so we can go to design to change chart type, and we turn it into a bar. After that, we can also change the type of we can also add a slicer by going into Analyze and Insert Slicer over here, and we want to insert it by status. So we click on status and we hit OK, and we have the slicer over here. Then we can just have the slicer only display on-time departures. So we click here, and we have on-time departures.